Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kilowatt. My name is Bodie, and I am your host. This is episode 399, coming up on 400 episodes. That is insane. We're also coming up on our 7th year of doing this podcast, which is bananas. I did not anticipate being able to do this for that long. So, yeah, I want to thank everybody for their support and everybody who supports us on Patreon and Acast and all that stuff, and everybody who's been supportive outside of that, and everybody who listens. Thank you very much. It's kind of a big deal to me. All right. I wasn't intending on going there. I have one quick announcement before we start our news. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Tesla will be doing their Q2 2023 earnings call. And we're going to cover that, but we're not going to cover it on Wednesday because it's really hard to get it out. They'll release it in the afternoon, and then I have to chop it up and go through it. And to get it out on the same day, it takes a lot of work. So that will go out on Thursday, just so as you know. And then we'll have a regular news day on Friday. So news today, a little bit of news tomorrow, shorter show. And then we'll have Tesla's earnings call on Thursday and Friday news. Now, I know that this is a lot of episodes, and I appreciate everybody being patient as I work through the backlog of stories that I wanted to talk about. We actually burned through them pretty quick. I was very surprised. But every now and again, I like to go for 5 days just to see if I can do it, because at some point in time, I'm going to retire. I have less than 4 years left before I can retire. And when I retire, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this show. Am I going to continue it? Am I going to, retire from the show as well? I'm still going to need to go get a job until I turn 65 because, I'm not ready to completely give up working. I would really love for this to be my job, but if that doesn't happen, that's okay too. But I like doing these occasional practices of 5-day-a-week shows to see if it can be done. All right, that's enough of this. I'm blabbing, and I didn't even, in my announcements tab under notes, under my podcast notes here, I don't even have anything. So all of this just came spilling out of my mouth without thought, which is obvious. All right, let's talk about EV news. Fisker has announced that it will enter the Indian market in Q4 2023. This will be a limited run Fisker Ocean. It'll be called the Extreme Vigyan Edition. Vigyan is the name of the Fisker's Indian subsidiary. We have no idea what will be different about this Fisker Ocean Extreme compared to the other ones. If honestly, it probably won't be all that different, but I'll keep you updated as we get more details. Rivian has received approval to begin construction on their plant in Georgia. Rivian initially had some opposition in Georgia to the plant, and that opposition went all the way to the Supreme Court, and it was over the property tax breaks that Rivian will be getting. The Supreme Court said they're not going to hear the case, so Rivian now has the green light to continue building or start on building their new facility, which will span 2,000 acres and cost $5 billion. Rivian says the facility is capable of producing up to 40,000 EVs a year, which is not the right number. It's capable of producing 400,000 EVs a year. Sticking with Rivian, Rivian is working on a neat solution for EV charging, and they filed a patent with the US Patent Trademark Office, USPTO, for a pass-through charging system. And basically what this does is one vehicle plugs into the charger, and then basically one vehicle connects to another vehicle, and there's like this daisy chain system so that all the EVs can be charged. This is really helpful for cramped spaces or fleets. I could see where a company like Amazon with the Rivian delivery vehicles plugs one vehicle into the charger, and then all of the other vehicles down the line are able to charge It might be helpful if you have 2 Rivian EVs at home. That way you only need one charger, but both vehicles are receiving energy. Honestly, there is a lot in this patent. And because there is so much in this patent, and to me, it seems like it's so broad, I don't think this is ever going to get produced. First of all, in the patent, they're using a CCS1 connector. As we know, Rivian has decided that they're going to move to the NACS connector, or the North America Charging Standard. Maybe the Society of Automotive Engineers, when they're, designing the spec for this, or designing the standard for the North America Charging Standard, maybe they'll include that. Maybe they won't. I doubt it. But it's just, there's just so much in this patent, and it doesn't make sense that this is something that they're actually going to put out. They actually put in the patent that the EVSE, or the electric vehicle supply equipment, would have an AC unit that would blow cold air under the vehicles to keep the batteries at optimal charging temps. Like, that's just really impractical if you're charging outside, especially in Arizona. I don't see this happening. But it's a neat idea for sure. Last episode, we talked about Canoo and NASA. I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but Canoo is also working with Walmart and the U.S. military on different projects. The Department of Defense, their innovation unit, announced that they would be expanding their partnership with Canoo. And I'm just going to read straight from the article here. The company says that it has leveraged its advanced commercial battery and integration expertise to deliver to the Department of Defense partners a technologically advanced battery pack that can be scaled for use on operational military platforms that will set the stage for standardization of energy-dense lithium batteries for the U.S. Navy. This follows the Defense Innovation Unit's testing and analysis of Canoo's proprietary technology since February 2023. And by doing this, I'm done reading now. By doing this, this will help the military achieve strategic defense resilience. Canoo uses a modular battery system that can be used on a variety of different vehicle bodies, so it kind of makes sense that the U.S. military is looking at this. On the other side, it would make sense that the U.S. military is looking at a lot of different options, not just Canoo. But military contracts tend to be extremely lucrative from a monetary standpoint, and right now Canoo needs all the money they can get. So hopefully this works out in their favor. Not long ago, I interviewed the founder of Autonomy, Scott Painter. Autonomy offers a subscription program for EVs, and it's not a lease. It's more of like a long-term rental type of thing. They say that it's more flexible than a lease and less expensive than buying. Well, that remains to be seen. I mean, that depends on a lot of different factors, but that's what it says on their website. Anyway, if you choose to subscribe to a vehicle, an EV, through Autonomy, here's some of the benefits that you will get. You'll get routine maintenance for free, roadside assistance. You'll be able to drive 1,000 miles a month without having to pay any overages. And you'll get a free tire replacement, which is, tires are expensive. Now, if you're intrigued and you're curious about the EVs that Autonomy is offering, let me go through these real quick. The Tesla Model 3, I believe it's the standard range. VinFast VF8 Eco and VF8 Plus. You can also subscribe to the Mercedes-Benz EQB 250 Plus or the EQE 350 Plus SUV. Oh, and they also have the EQS 450 Plus SUV. They do have the Silverado EV pickup truck, but I don't think that's out yet, but it shows it on their website. The Rivian R1T and the Mustang Mach-E. Now, I'm not going to read all of the prices off to you, but I'm going to take a little selection here and tell you how much it's going to cost you. Now, if you want to rent or subscribe to the Model 3, for instance, if you put $5,800 down, you can subscribe to the Model 3 for $390 a month. And it's $390 a month for however long you want to pay for it. If it's 1 month, then you put the money down. You don't get any refunds back, but you can basically pay, what is that? $6,290 for a Model 3 for 1 month if you're interested in that kind of a thing. Let's see here. If you're looking at the EQS 450 Plus SUV, you put $4,500 down, and that's almost $1,200 a month for that subscription price. The R1T, $4,500 down, and $939 a month for a subscription price. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Because that just seems weird. When I interviewed Scott, which was back in December, early December, EV prices were really high. But not long after that, in January, starting in January of 2023, Tesla and reluctantly other EV manufacturers started cutting prices over the next few months. And Autonomy's fleet value dropped significantly. At one point in time, they're claiming that their fleet value was $85 million. And that dropped down to $56 or $57 million in like one day. Now, I don't know which particular day he's talking about, but it nearly put the company out of business. Autonomy says that they have 1,300 EVs in their fleet, and that got me to thinking, what's the average cost per vehicle if you have an $85 million fleet? And that average cost actually ends up being, and I'll tell you as soon as I find it here, $65,385, which honestly seems high to me for a variety of different reasons. But there's really no reason to discuss it because I'll just be wasting your time and spouting nonsense and conspiracy theories. But I do think the subscription, like long-term rental subscription model for EVs is an interesting idea. But I don't know how many people want to do this long-term. I'm not saying that there's not a subset of people out there who would like to do this, but this is not like a new iPhone or a new Android phone that people might buy every year. You know, this is a car. This is a bigger investment. Like if you chose the Model 3 route and you paid the $5,800, down payment or whatever it is, and then the $390 a month in your first year, you're going to spend $10,480. That's a lot of money. And then you're going to spend just shy of $5,000 a year after that. It seems to me that you could either buy or lease the car and still be in better shape. Now, I understand there's probably edge cases out there where people would find this service very interesting. I just don't think it's enough to make a business, especially if you're carrying an $85 million fleet. It just seems like a lot. It seems like somebody was overly optimistic when it comes to this. Now, I do need to say, if you don't want to put quite so much down, you can put like $1,000 down, for instance, and you would end up being right at $500 a month. If you put $500 down, you would pay $9,090 a month. If you wanted to lower your down payment. This doesn't seem like a long-term solution. I do think it's interesting, and maybe somebody will crack it, but unlikely for these prices. It's a lot of money. If you're interested in something like this, email me, Bodie, BODIE at 918digital.com. All right, let's move on to our Tesla news. And really, we're going to start off with Tesla rumors. Let's start off with the Cyber Canopy, which I don't know if that's an official name or not. But basically, it's a canopy that will go over a supercharging station. It'll have solar panels on it, and then it'll have batteries attached to those solar panels, which is a fantastic idea. I would really love one of those in Arizona. So if this is real, Tesla, bring it to Arizona. Next up, we have an old rumor that's been repackaged. You remember the $25,000-ish EV that Tesla was going to make for China? Well, now we have a rumor that Tesla will make a $24,000-ish EV at a new factory in India. And I should say that a factory that has not been announced or confirmed by Tesla. According to the Times of India, the proposed factory will be capable of producing 500,000 vehicles a year. Of course, we have no details on the car. We have no details on the story. We have no idea if this is true or not. However, this kind of thing keeps popping up, and it pops up often enough, and we know that Tesla's talking to Indian officials, that I do think there's probably some truth in this. Where that truth happens to be, I'm not really sure. It would make sense that Tesla would build an affordable vehicle for India and China, and hopefully everywhere where they sell cars, because more than, everybody needs an affordable car. But I'll keep you posted as we hear more about this story. Steve Sheridan with another great recommendation, 2 shows in a row, Steve. Twitter user at Tesla_iOS_app found a reference to Apple's Airplay when they decompiled the latest version of Tesla's iPhone app. So Airplay is not CarPlay. And in the article that I read, you would only be able to AirPlay music or audio to your Tesla, but AirPlay is capable of doing music, videos, and mirroring your iPhone screen. And I think that would be great if it did all 3 of those things. Elon has mentioned that AirPlay on Teslas could be plausible in the future. Of course, this is not official, but it is interesting. We have a big iPhone event in September. But more than that, we have a big holiday update coming. Tesla usually does a big OS update around the holidays, so maybe we'll see it then. Fingers crossed, that would be awesome. Tesla showed off a display of the version 4 Superchargers at the Goodwood Festival of Speed in the UK. Now, this wasn't an actual working charger. It was just, an example. But on the display, there was a contactless bank card reader and a little small display just right underneath where the connector docks on the charger. It's really unlikely that this is for Tesla owners. This is more than likely for third-party EVs to come up and charge on the Supercharger network, which is great. In Europe, Tesla uses the CCS2 adapter or connector. At the moment, Tesla requires third-party EV owners to have payment information set up in the Tesla app. And then when these owners go and use like the Magic Dock, for instance, if it's in the US or if it's in Europe, they just plug the CCS2 adapter in. They put which stall they're in for the Supercharger, and then Tesla charges their credit card and they drive away. It's really a convenient option. But this just sounds like it's just one more way for people to pay for charging. And before anybody emails me, I'm aware that you can use Apple Pay or Android Pay with those contactless systems as well. And I don't see a reason why Tesla wouldn't allow you to do that. So, you know what? I have another rumor. I should have put this at the top of the segment instead of here. But it's a pretty big rumor, so maybe it's more appropriate here. It is rumored that Tesla is acquiring Wi-Fi. I'm definitely saying that wrong. They are a wireless charging company that has previously worked with over 100 companies on wireless charging solutions. And they've been a company since 2015. Now, this is a rumor. I don't think anything's been confirmed, but the German arm of Business Insider has the unconfirmed report that a Dutch subsidiary of Tesla is planning to purchase all of the shares of Wi-Fi. And if you know how to pronounce this business name, let me know, because I sound really stupid. I mean, the specific intention behind the acquisition is unclear, but we can easily speculate that Tesla could be preparing to offer wireless charging for their vehicles in the home business, or maybe even fast wireless charging, which I don't know how effective that would be. Maybe they'll use it to charge Tesla semis, or maybe they'll just use it for wireless charging for the Tesla robots. We don't know. But what we do know is Tesla is really good at integrating one piece of technology across their whole line of products and making sure that they get the most bang for their buck when they implement or buy a company. And maybe this is why Tesla was comfortable opening up the NACS connector. Who knows? Let's see here. Back in April, we had a story about Tesla cutting employees' bonuses at GigaShanghai. They were allegedly cutting these bonuses because of a safety incident that resulted in the death of a worker, which is horrible, absolutely horrible. It sounds like, though, the worker was not following Tesla's safety practices, and as a result of that, they passed away. Again, no less tragic. But I don't know that all of the employees at GigaShanghai need to be punished for that and have their bonuses cut. When it was announced that Tesla would be cutting these bonuses, a bunch of workers actually appealed to Elon, and Elon said he would look into it. Well, now Reuters is reporting that 3 GigaShanghai employees did receive a bonus check of 1.5 times their monthly salary. And it sounds like the standard bonus check they had been receiving is 1.2 times their monthly salary. So a little bit more in their pockets. Employees were not given a reason for the hike or even a reason for why they received bonuses in their full amount. But I'm happy that this happened. I think Tesla, and probably more of the credit goes to Elon, did the right thing here by giving these folks their bonuses. Fun fact, GigaShanghai has over 20,000 employees, and that facility has the capability of producing 1 million EVs a year. Just in Q2 2023, GigaShanghai shipped 247,217 made in China Model 3s and Model Ys, which was up 120% from the previous year. So congrats to the whole GigaShanghai team, although nobody in China listens to this podcast. So I'm just saying that into the ether. All right, everybody, that is it for me today. I want to thank you all again for indulging my nonsense. If you want to email me, it's Bodie, BODIE at 918digital.com. You can find me on Twitter at 918digital. You all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.